Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Hens back with another video, and you're probably like, Hens, where have you been for the past, I don't even know, year, basically? Well, to be honest with you, NHL sucks, so I haven't even touched the game, basically, since my last video. I think I have 4 goals on Team of the Season Draisaitl. So, yeah, that's where we're at. But, yeah, I'm going to be back. So, over the next couple of days leading up to the NHL draft, I'm going to try to do a few redrafts leading into it. And then on Tuesday, the day before the draft, I'm going to release my mock draft rankings. So, basically, we're going to be doing a whole bunch of different drafts. If you guys have any drafts that you want me to redraft, give me a suggestion in the comment section below. Today, we're doing the 2019 draft held in Vancouver, where Jack Hughes went first overall. And yeah, let's hop right into it. Also, if you have any questions about where I've been, just drop it in the comments. Yes, I did fall off the face of the earth, literally, and I just climbed back up, so that's why I'm recording videos. Anyway, let's get into this. So, this is the rankings, basically, since, if you guys forgot, I just decided to put it up on screen here. I'm going to be redrafting the top 16 in the draft. So keep that in mind, only the top 16, not the entire first round. But yeah, Jack Hughes went first, obviously. Kaapo Kakko, Kirby Dach, Bowen Byram, Alex Turcotte were the top 5, with a few other players sprinkled in there that, probably are going to rise, and some players are, definitely going to fall. So, what my rankings are based off of. So, games played in the NHL, so they have to be games played in the NHL, not outside of the NHL. The points that they produced, the impact that they've had on their team, their playoff performances, because I do think that's a big factor. Also, if you hear any water in the background, it's because I moved to a new room in my basement. And then lastly, I am a Habs fan, so keep that in mind as we head into our first player. At number 16 overall, the Colorado Avalanche previously selected Alex Newhook, but now they're going to select Raphael Harvey Pinard. Now, Harvey Pinard, this year in the NHL, he's been great for the Habs. In 38 games played, he has scored 15 goals, got 6 assists, and for 21 points. As in his first season in the NHL, he is he's over half a point a game, which is better than a lot of the other players on this list. But with his limited experience and probably, a little bit lucky, high shooting percentage, he's not going to go any higher on this list. But I thought I'd add him in here because he did have a great season, and I wanted to shout out my boy, Raphael. Okay. Going on to 14th overall, we have, my thing's not working, Cam York. A lot of you guys say he looks like me because he is a ginger. But yeah, so we have Cam York going at 15th overall here. He has 87 games played, 5 goals, 25 assists for 30 points in the NHL. Now, he is a defenseman, which is why he remains on my list here. There is a few players that missed out on the list that I think could have gone over him, like Ville Heinola, Peyton Krebs even, Philip Tomasino could have gone in here, and I think Philip Tomasino, if I was being realistic, probably should have a place over RHP at the 16th spot, but like I said, I'm a Habs fan, so I'm going to be a little bit biased. But yeah, Cam York comes in at number 15. Nils Hoglander comes in at number 14th. This is the second round pick for the Vancouver Canucks. He in 141 NHL games played, he scored 26 goals, 28 assists for 46 points. He's been a solid role player for the Vancouver Canucks. He hasn't really pitched in and been anything, spectacular. But for a second-round pick, he's been a solid player, and his lengthy NHL experience is what gave him the 14th spot on this list. I also felt bad because I didn't want to put their first-round pick in Vasily Podkolzin because I don't think he's been that good in the NHL. So I decided to put Nils Hoglander in for all you Canucks fans, and also because I do think he deserves to go 14th overall. In 13th place, we have Alex Newhook, Stanley Cup champion. He has 159 games played, 27 goals, 39 assists for 66 points, playing mostly third and fourth line on the Avalanche, who have been a very successful team. He's filled his role in very, very, very well. He has been a great piece for the Colorado Avalanche, and I think that if there was a redraft and Florida ended up with Alex Newhook, he maybe wouldn't have been the piece that set them over the edge to win the Cup this year, but he definitely would have been a solid role-playing piece in their bottom 6, and he would have, progressed the team along pretty well and been a very solid role player. So I have Alex Newhook coming in at number 13. At number 12, sorry about the bad quality picture, we have got Arthur Kaliyev. Now, Arthur Kaliyev, in 137 games played with the Los Angeles Kings, has 28 goals, 28 assists for 56 points. Another guy who's been kind of under the radar, playing in a smaller, well, not really smaller market, but a smaller market to us here in Canada. He's been a great role piece for the Los Angeles Kings, playing, I think, a little bit of top 6 minutes this year. So, yeah, coming in at number 12, we have Arthur Kaliyev, because I do think he's got a lot of upside. I watched him on the Hamilton Bulldogs because I am from the Hamilton area, and I watched a lot of Bulldogs games. So he is a great player, and I see him having a successful future with the Los Angeles Kings. Coming in at number 11, Shane Pinto. A lot of you guys might be shocked that he's this low on the list. The reason why I have him this low is because, you know, he hasn't had the same amount of experience as a lot of the other players on this list that are higher up than him. Although, if I did do this redraft next year or a couple years down the line, I could see him shooting right up this draft, no question about it. He's a great player. But as of this moment in time, I think that there are 10 better players in the draft than him. So, coming in at number 11, we've got Shane Pinto with 99 games played, 21 goals, 22 assists for 43 points. Coming in at number 10, we have Kaapo Kakko. Big fall from grace from number 2. With the New York Rangers, playing mostly bottom 6 minutes over the past few seasons. He's got 239 games played, 44 goals, 54 assists for 98 points, under half a point per game. Although he's had limited minutes with the New York Rangers, he has been somewhat impactful and he's shown those, you know, flashes of excellence that he showed before he got drafted. I think if he was on a team with a better fit for him, then he would be producing a lot more. So maybe perhaps he gets traded in this offseason, which there's been rumors about it. So if he gets traded in this offseason, I could see him climbing up the ranks a little bit higher in this draft. But as of right now, I have him at 10th overall. I think him and Shane Pinto were very close for me. They have about the same points per game. But the reason I put Kaapo Kakko ahead is because he's got a little bit more experience in the NHL. So I am happy with putting him here at 10th place. At number 9, we've got Spencer Knight. Now, Spencer Knight was drafted 13th overall by the Florida Panthers. He's been very inconsistent, I'll say that. He's been either amazing, unbelievable, like he was with the U20s at the World Juniors for the States when I think they won gold, right? Anyway, he was great for them. He's shown flashes of greatness with Florida, but he's also had, you know, sometimes not played the best with Florida, but with goaltenders, they usually take a little bit longer to develop, and they usually last for a little bit longer in the NHL. So I wouldn't be too worried about Spencer Knight if you guys are Florida fans. I think he's going to be a fantastic goalie in the NHL, and I'm confident that he, should have been drafted a little bit higher than what he was, of course, in this redraft. So coming in at number 8, we have Kirby Dach. Now this could again be my Habs bias kicking in, but Kirby Dach has better points per game than both Shane Pinto and Kaapo Kakko. So I think he deserves this spot. He had a very big breakout season this year. There's only up from here. He's got silky hands. He's a big boy. He can pass the puck like anybody in the league. So 210 games played, 33 goals, 64 assists for 97 points. That's just under half a point per game. But this last season, he had a great season. I will check it out right here. Give me a second. He had 14 goals, 24 points for 14 goals, 24 assists for 38 points in 58 games, which is an absolutely great stat line. He's also only -2 on a Canadiens team that was, pretty terrible last year. So overall, I think Kirby Dach was a great pickup in the draft. And I am super excited that he's joined the Montreal Canadiens, and I am confident that there's only up from here. Chicago gave up on him a little bit too early, so number 8 right now for Kirby Dach, although I do think that there's chance for him to rise in the draft. Although the top 7 and even the top 6 is pretty stacked, so I would keep an eye out for that. Coming in at number 7, we have Dylan Cozens. Now, you might be like, what? Dylan Cozens only number 7? He stayed where he was in the draft, even though he had a season like he did this year. Well, yes, I think there's a big gap between 8 and 7 right now. Don't get me wrong. I think this is where the kind of gap starts between second liners, third liners area into second and first liners, top 6 players instead of middle 6 players. Dylan Cozens with the Buffalo Sabres has 201 games played, 48 goals, 71 assists for 119 points. In the World Juniors, he was absolutely phenomenal for Team Canada. He's been a great player for the Sabres, had a great season this season. I could see him moving up in the rankings, but it's pretty stiff because the top 6 in this draft, every single one of them are amazing players. So it's going to be hard for him to move up. But at number 7, it's a very formidable place for him. And I think that, like I said, there's a big gap between 8 and 7. Coming in at number 6, we've got Bowen Byram, another Stanley Cup champion with the Colorado Avalanche. In 91 games played, he scored 15 goals, 28 assists for 43 points, playing, middle to bottom pairing minutes on the Colorado Avalanche. So being at about a half a point per game in those sheltered role with the Colorado Avalanche is absolutely phenomenal. He's been a great piece for them. I could see him also rising in this draft. You never know, but like I said, going from those like Kirby Dach to some of the better players in this draft, I think Bowen Byram was a great pick for the Colorado Avalanche, and I could even see him see debates for putting him higher in this list. But yeah, he's been phenomenal for the Avalanche. If you guys don't know, Avalanche are my second favorite team, so I've been watching a lot of Bowen Byram. I really didn't like him at the World Juniors. I thought he would look lazy, but ever since watching him with the Colorado Avalanche, he's been great. So I think that he has a lot of upside still. He's still young. I think he's got a lot to grow, and I think coming in at number 6, the Detroit Red Wings missing out on Moritz Seider and getting Bowen Byram, I'd be upset, but I wouldn't be too upset. Coming in at number 5, we got Matt Boldy. So now I put the stats up here on the screen for you to see for the top 5. For Matt Boldy, he has had 128 games played, 46 goals, 56 assists for 102 points. Now, he does have a little bit more goals and assists over his career than some of the other guys in the top 5 here, but I'll get into that a little bit later. He's been a great player for the Minnesota Wild. He's obviously had very good players to play around, which is why I think he slipped a little bit lower, because I think that he's kind of an auxiliary piece for them. He kind of gets peripheral points, not as much as putting up actual, solid points. He's not as impactful on his team as some of the other players in the top 5 are, but there is no denying that he's been a great player for the Minnesota Wild. And the LA Kings picking Alex Turcotte over him, that's a bit sad, because they could have had this guy, and they should have been really happy with that. So coming in at number 4, we got my boy Caufield. In 123 games played, he scored 53 goals, 31 assists for 84 points. He's also got 20 games played, 4 goals, 8 assists for 12 goals in the 4 goals, 8 assists for 12 points in the playoffs. Sorry, it's been a while since I've done a YouTube video, but he's been great for the Habs. He had that really slow stint last year at the start of the year where he had like 2 points in 20 games or something. And then the second half of the season, he turned it around. He was a point per game, almost a goal per game until he got injured. There's nothing but upside for Cole Caufield. I think he's easily a better player than Matthew Boldy. I think he will continue to be a better player than Matthew Boldy. I think his contract is going to turn into one of the best contracts in the entire NHL. And I cannot wait to watch some more Cole Caufield this season, because when he got injured last year, you know what? The Habs were nothing like they were before he was injured to watch. So I need Cole to come back. Get well soon, man. I can't wait to see you start playing in the playoffs or in the regular season this year. Hopefully the playoffs, but we'll see. Maybe alongside, next year like a Will Smith or a Ryan Leonard. That would be fun to watch. Coming in at number 3, we have Trevor Zegras. Now that means you guys know who the top 2 are, and you might be shocked to see me put Trevor Zegras at number 3 instead of number 2. But the reason that I have him at number 3 is because I think that defensemen are more impactful than forwards. Getting a good top defenseman will win you more championships than getting, probably what is going to be a top line piece. Maybe not a top line center in the NHL, maybe a second line center or a top line winger. I don't think he's going to be one of the best players in the NHL ever, but he does have some silky hands. He was been great for the Anaheim Ducks for 139 points in 180 games played, including 49 goals. He's not made the playoffs yet, so that's a little bit of a knock on him. Neither has the second overall. I'm going to say that right away. But Trevor Zegras, great player, great job on the Anaheim Ducks on picking him at where was he picked? He was picked at 9th overall. So getting him if the Chicago Blackhawks got him instead of Kirby Dach, they'd be super happy. Although I do think Kirby Dach is, approaching this level because he's got just as silky, maybe not just as silky, but almost as silky hands, almost as good playmaking, maybe not as good goal scoring, but, Kirby Dach's, approaching him here. I do think Trevor Zegras is and probably will always be the better player. So, yeah, Trevor Zegras comes in at number 3. Obviously, that means Moritz Seider comes in at number 2. 164 games played, 12 goals, 80 assists for 92 points as a defenseman on a mediocre at best Detroit Red Wings team. That's unbelievable. He did have a bit of a slower year this year, but again, the Detroit Red Wings weren't as good as they could have been. So I think that he will turn it around again and start to become one of the best defensemen in the league. On top of that, he's right-handed, which is very, very, very hard to come by, which is why David Reinbacher is rising up the draft list this year, is because he's right-handed. But I don't think David Reinbacher is anywhere near what Moritz Seider is. The Detroit Red Wings are extremely happy that they drafted him at 6 overall, because I think in a redraft, as you can see here, he is the second best player, and the second best player by a bit of a margin. And obviously that means at number 1, the New Jersey Devils, unfortunately, Henrique. I mean, I don't feel great saying this, but you guys made the right choice here. 244 games played, 207 points, 87 goals. This year he was just absolutely phenomenal. He's got 6 goals, 5 assists, 11 points in 12 playoff games. He has been one of the best centers in the league, and I think he will continue to be one of the best centers in the league. I think his ceiling is a top 5 player in the entire NHL. He took a little bit of time to get there, but once he got there, man, has he been amazing. Jack Hughes, great player, great pick. And I think this is one of the only redrafts in recent memory that is going to have the same player that got drafted first overall going first overall. So that's pretty cool. With that being said, I'm going to wrap up the video here. If you guys have any suggestions for more redrafts that I should do, drop it in the comment section below. I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you for, sticking around the channel and coming back when I upload this video. I'm sure this is not going to get as many views as I was doing peak NHL, but I will be back next year. I'll be posting NHL content, some more market tips next year when the game starts up again, so stay tuned for that. But I have been slacking a little bit recently just because I've been working full-time and the game hasn't been fun, so it's kind of been hard to find that motivation to post videos. But with that being said, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.